Hello there, Ghost Story fans. I am back with number 4 on my list of my favorite haunted filming locations around Los Angeles. And this next location is kind of why exactly I love this topic. It's because we can have a story, a location that is so dark. And if you don't know the background, the history, the ghost stories, you just see it on TV and you don't think anything of it. And in this location specifically, so many comedies have shot at this place, going all the way back to Charlie Chaplin's The Kid, up through current day, where a whole bunch of different, like really cheesy sitcoms have shot here. Fun movies, again, comedy, upbeat, light, bright, fun. And then if you actually know the history of the place, and the ghost stories of the place, you understand how eerie and uncanny it is that all of these positive, happy things are being shot here because the place is dark. And on that topic exactly, I have to acknowledge the fact that this is a second attempt to post this video. I created this in the past, and because of one certain word, YouTube, it went against YouTube's guidelines. It was throttled. It wasn't taken down, but it was made very difficult to see, to find. So what you will be seeing is an edited version of this video, a censored version, really, which is unfortunate because I think it is very important to talk about the difficulties of life, the struggle at times, and to demystify or destigmatize the fact that we all go through these difficult moments with ourselves. I like to be able to speak bluntly about this because I think it's important. YouTube does not allow for such bluntness. So therefore, to get this out at all, I do have to censor myself, but just know that no matter what's going on in your life, we're all going through this difficult thing called life in our own separate ways. So there are people to talk to. You're not alone. And it's best to just give yourself the opportunity to see what tomorrow holds. So without further ado, I'm going to send it out to myself in Pasadena as we talk about the Colorado Street Bridge, my number 4 favorite haunted filming location. And we're coming up on the top 3. Do you have any guesses at what those are? Also, do you have any disagreements with the list so far? Places that should be ranked higher or lower? I definitely want to know about it. Leave comments. Let's talk. Hello and welcome to another installment of haunted filming locations. And I decided to start this one today right here in downtown Pawnee, Indiana. Yes, also known as Pasadena, California. And for any of you Parks and Rec fans, once you're here, you really have to think about it. This is supposed to be a small, poor town in Indiana. How do they have this as their city hall? One incongruency when it comes to the show, which, yeah, of course, one of my favorite shows. You're seeing a lot of Pawnee here, a lot of Parks and Rec on this channel for sure.
I do want to apologize for not being able to accommodate some of your requests. For example, we couldn't get a bottle of Chateau Marmont because it's a hotel in Los Angeles.
Oh, and actually, if we look through the trees there, hard to see because it's very blocked by the trees. I'll try to get a better view, but that's the library. That's where Tammy works. One of Ron's nemesis, one of his exes.
Pawnee's library department is the most diabolical, ruthless bunch of bureaucrats I've ever seen. They're like a biker gang. But instead of shotguns and crystal meth, they use political savvy and shushing.
That is the library right over there. But yes, here is City Hall. And no, this building, to my knowledge, isn't haunted. But Pasadena is a town that I feel comes out of a Tim Burton movie. It's one of these towns that is just so beautiful, idyllic, and it just has to be sinister just under the surface in some ways. And indeed, holy. Pasadena absolutely has some really, really dark stories. We're going to talk about one of the darkest ones today, but in addition, one that we're not going to talk about is the fact that Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard, Jack Parsons being the guy that discovered solid-state rocket fuel. He and yes, L. Ron Hubbard really enjoyed the teachings of Aleister Crowley and decided that they wanted to try to summon the Antichrist and did all sorts of weird ceremonies in the area around what is now Jet Propulsion's laboratory. So yeah, that's like just one minor example of some of the darkness that Pasadena has to offer. But it's so wild that a place could have this beautiful city hall and could bring us to a place this dark. This is the Colorado Street Bridge in Pasadena. Really a remarkable remarkable. It's a beautiful building, a beautiful structure with the darkest past imaginable because it is better known as the Bridge. And when I first started researching it, I would see these reports that, 200 or so people have. And that sounded very urban legendy to me, that's such a huge number. But as I was going back and doing research, I found very quickly that the newspapers were keeping tabs. And long ago, you'd see numbers like, okay, number 81 just jumped today. It was a phenomena. This bridge was done, as so often happens with some of these places that get associated with, around the time of the Great Depression. And there are all sorts of ghost stories associated with this location, both on top of the bridge, shadowy forms seen walking around, and also down here where I am. I mean, I hate to say it, but where people would be landing. It is an amazing perspective to see it the way I'm seeing it right now. From below, you really see how grand this massive bridge is, coming over the Arroyo Seco, I believe, right there. See the river over there. But yes, I've actually never hiked the top of it. I unfortunately have been around a couple of times when there have been here. I'll probably talk about that at a different location. Really don't want to sensationalize any of this because it's a real human tragedies happened at this site. Now, we want to talk about fun stuff, which we do, of course. That bridge up there in the movie Yes Man, where Jim Carrey has to say yes to everything he's presented with, every opportunity, he ends up bungee jumping, and he jumps off of that bridge. And of course, Jim Carrey is kind of famous for doing as many of his own stunts as production would allow him to do. So he really did do the jump. I wonder when he jumped, did he know that he was doing so from the bridge?
Let's do this.
You sure?
I'm totally sure.
Okay.
Yeah. That being said, pray for me.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
One of the most famous stories associated with this bridge is actually an attempted murder slash where a woman, a mother, threw her child over the edge, and then she herself jumped as well, her child being a small baby. The child ended up getting caught in the branches of a tree, and I'm not sure which side of which bank we were talking, but in my head, for whatever reason, I've always just assumed it was on this side. But the branches of the tree was able to catch the baby, save its life, while the mother then sparing, finally, one victim of this bridge. Here's another interesting look, an interesting sight. I had never noticed before, but a very old and obviously outdated, I'm not sure if it's used at all, bridge down at this lowest level that I'm sure was mostly, if not entirely, replaced by the beautiful Colorado Street Bridge. So we have some black-winged birds flying overhead. And then that bridge being outdated and mostly replaced by that bridge you kind of see in the center there. That is Highway 134. But anyway, all three bridges right here in this one shot. On the other side of the bridge now, see more you can hear more traffic noise. And whew, this is a bad smelling part of the river here. It's all backed up, stagnant water. Looks like we can go up and get onto that oldest bridge. Love seeing the essentially ruins still left behind from its heyday. People think so much of Los Angeles is shiny and new and all made out of plastic, but there is still a lot of history to be found. Just by looking around, getting out of your car and walking around a little bit. So here we go. You see this old, not in use anymore. This oldest bridge is directly underneath the Colorado Street Bridge. Old manhole cover. Even that is so dated. It's just, they don't look like that anymore. It is disorienting to look up and walk underneath this mighty structure. And again, there's the Arroyo Seco, living almost all the way up to its name of the dry river. See, these walls have been reinforced, not crumbling like the other ones. Still some beautiful craftsmanship. This curve going along the side here, just step into some leaves, make it feel a lot like autumn. Little makeshift wall up there. We'll leave that area alone just in case. Okay, but that'll do it for us down here. Oh, here, let's get a shot looking up. See those really picturesque. You see why it would be used in movies, those old lamp poles. Really pretty cool. I figured I'd tell some of my stories down here where it's relatively quieter, not nearly as much traffic noise as there would be on top. But yeah, maybe it was the second or third time ever trying to check this area out, just drive past it, giving a tour to a friend, not an official tour. Traffic was rerouted, and oddly enough, it brought us down here into this area. We couldn't go over the top of the Colorado Street Bridge, and when we came to the bottom side, we saw that there were emergency crews working down here. Heard over the radio later that yes, indeed, there was that day. So a sad, stark reality check moment that yes, this is a real life tragedy, tragic place with incidents still ongoing, still happening. They put all sorts of safety precautions up, but if somebody is determined, unfortunately, they do find a way. Years later, I was asked by GULA, the Ghost Hunters of Urban Los Angeles, to do a speech. There's a park over on that side where they had a screen set up. They were going to show some campy horror movie. I'm sure, I can't even remember what the movie was, but they wanted me to give a speech beforehand. And you can actually see in photos from that moment, from that speech, emergency crews behind me, because there was someone threatening to jump at the time. Now, at the point I was giving the speech, everything was cleared up. The person did not jump, thankfully, but still, it's still eerie to see, yes, emergency crews are behind me as I'm telling the stories about the Colorado Street Bridge. Now, we ended up finding out that later that night, after the movie, somebody else did. When I say that this is an active place, unfortunately, listen, there's help out there for people that need help, and there's nothing wrong with needing help. This is not the answer, that's for sure. But, you know, we talk about this bridge, I hope, with my hopes, to bring awareness to a big problem, a big issue that society needs to deal with, that individuals have to address. And there are many, many, many ways. I understand it. We've all been there to some degree, and that means that people are out there to help. So I hope talking about the bridge, the Colorado Street Bridge, it doesn't glamorize, but it doesn't put these victims, these people that went through this, into a shadow that we're not allowed to talk about it, that we just kind of cover it up. We have to address this. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox because I don't really, have meanings and messages often. I really like to promote the fun, but this bridge is more than fun. It's a testament to needs that we need to address. I'm gonna see if I can do a walk across the top, which I've never done. I'm way overdue to do that, but so hopefully I'll see you on the top side. So this is the park, Defenders Park, where the movie showing was and where I was giving my speech. And yeah, so directly behind me, this is the street where the fire engine was. And right over there, you can see Colorado Street Bridge. And I'm not gonna walk across the entire thing right now, but like I said, I've never been on it, so I've never gotten that perspective of just even setting foot on any of it. So let's see. Honestly, part of me is kind of hoping that you can't get on it, like it's all chained off by now. But I don't think that's the case. We'll see. We'll see in a bit. So here you see it for a freeway. It's really claustrophobic, which is why they opened the much bigger highway over there. Just one lane each way. And again, these are very small chain links. So you wouldn't be able to get a foothold in there. can see the older original prevention gates that were put up they really would have just stopped somebody from accidentally going over. These new big ones hopefully have had a bigger impact. Okay, so that was the Colorado Street Bridge. I'm mentioning Yes Man, but it really is featured in a whole bunch of different movies. I'll put a list of them scrolling right here. I mean, it makes a lot of sense from a filmmaker standpoint. It is visually very interesting, very cool. You get that long curve, the old Art Deco architecture. Something interesting that I noticed was that there were a lot of locks on the fence, which, you know, made me think of the bridges in Paris, where lovers will write their names on the locks and attach it to the bridge. I was wondering if something like that was happening here, but it was remembrances. It was people's names, birthdays, death dates, kind of like another little memorial. So good to always be remembered and to remember those you loved and lost. We'll be back with another much more lighthearted episode of Haunted Filming Locations. Thanks for watching.